to enter into the record 302s that were done with Mr. Bobulinski, what's known as Exhibit A, 400A. Thank you very much. Mr. Bobulinski, thank you for being here. Mr. Parnas, thank you for being here. And those of you who are appearing extraneously on our screen. Mr. Bobulinski, tell me very quickly about the professionalism of the organization that you work for in terms of paychecks, getting paychecks, providing the IRS with documentation of people who were paid out of the organization.
I'm not sure I'm following your question.
Were you ever paid?
I was not.
So you were never paid by this organization?
I was not.
Did you ever receive any enumeration?
When we were in the process of trying to shut down Sinohawk Holdings LLC and Oneida Holdings LLC, I was compensated. It wasn't a compensation, it was a reimbursement of $50,000 of money I'd come out of pocket, traveling around, paying for hotels and stuff like that.
So in other words, people did not get paid, or you didn't get paid that you were aware of. Were you aware that other people were being paid?
The Biden family was paid. Hunter and Jim Biden were clearly paid millions of dollars.
And how would you think that information would be transmitted about them receiving that payment and going to the IRS?
I'm not sure of those specifics. I'm just aware that they received those millions of dollars, obviously based on the brave testimony of Shapley and Ziegler that came public with a bunch of information, and then Senator Johnson and Senator Grassley's report. I never saw. The only bank account I ever saw is the one I set up at J.P. Morgan for Sinohawk Holdings and Oneida Holdings LLC. J.P. Morgan was well aware that the Biden family were owners in that business. They authorized it, approved it. And
what Social Security number was utilized to set up that account?
For Sinohawk and Oneida?
Yes.
We had to represent the owners of the underlying entity, so they were aware that Hudson West 4 owned 50% of Sinohawk Holdings, and they provided their information. On the Oneida side, we represented that each of us owned 20%, and I'd have to go back and look. I, as the CEO, probably provided my Social Security number. I'm not sure if we provided Social Security numbers for all 5 members.
And yet
excuse me, tax IDs for their LLCs.
Or tax IDs. And yet you never received money except reimbursement for out-of-pocket expenses that were related to the business.
Correct. And imagine that $50,000 I was paid was actually from the legal side of Sinohawk Holdings and the Chinese, while the Bidens had defrauded me and were receiving millions of dollars into their own pockets.
Were you aware that they were receiving millions of dollars at the time?
I was not.
Did you spend time with the Department of Justice on this matter?
I did. I had a voluntary interview with the FBI on October 23rd, I believe, 2020.
They approached you or you approached them?
My lawyers coordinated me. I, which is obviously public knowledge, went to the second debate. I flew to D.C. with the intent of sitting in front of Senator Johnson, Senator Grassley, and their committee. And then my lawyers sought counsel, had discussions, and decided it was a better focus of my time to walk voluntarily into the FBI.
So where did you do that?
In Washington, D.C.
Main Justice, Main FBI, or the field office?
I believe it was the leading field office. They didn't want to do it in Main Justice for some their reasons. They decided. I would have gone wherever they asked me to go.
Did they tell you at the time that you were providing information that if you provided information that was not true and correct, that you could be held liable for that under criminal statute?
Yes, of course. I appreciate you asking that question. I was operated as if I misrepresented, misstated, lied, that I was committing criminal offenses, which I take very seriously based on the fact that I was willing to die for this country. And to just correct Ms. Crockett's statement earlier, I didn't accuse the FBI of lying. I stated in my transcribed interview that the FBI made mistakes in their 302. My lawyers never saw that document after my interview until it was made public to the world.
And then you attempted to correct that 302.
I did.
Is that the same 302 known as Exhibit 400A that I have entered in the record today?
It is.
Do you have any other dispute with that, and have you looked at it, and do you have any other dispute?
Well, there's numerous mistakes in it.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any reason to believe that all of these SAR reports that have come out of banks were all fraud?
And gentleman's time's expired, but he asked a question about the SARS reports.
No, I mean, just the number of SARS reports should give every American pause. The average American in this country will never receive a single SAR in their entire life. So for a family or an individual to have over what I've publicly seen, 150 of them, is just extraordinary.
Okay.
Thank you very, I want to thank all the witnesses that are here today, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.